Julius is in, and so is Juggernaut. How's it going, guys? Look at what we got going on here. Normally, I start with my ugly mug, but we're starting with the down look here. So the Valkyrie's done. Originally, when I created the live stream a couple days ago, I was going to be painting the figures, but I got a lot more done than I anticipated originally, and ended up finishing Valkyrie. So tonight we're going to be working on the base, which is what it's standing on, and I'll go into that in just a second. But let's go up here. Whoops, don't want to do that. I want widescreen. What do I want widescreen for? No, we don't want that. Let's go here. We'll go up here. There we go. How you doing, guys? Welcome in. We're live, and we're getting close to the end of this project. Starting to do the final touches on everything. I ended up gluing the wingtip lights on, the running lights that go on the front of basically the wing edge, and then I did also the ones on the nose cone and underneath the landing light. There's little lenses, little tiny. I had a bunch of little lenses left over on. What's up, Nick? Evening, everybody. Happy New Year to everyone. And like I said, I got a little bit further than I anticipated, and I was so close. I just kept plugging away the other night, and I finished all the figures and clear coated them, flat coated them, just a little bit of a panel line wash on them just to dull the uniforms down, because some of the colors I would have had to custom mix, and I didn't want to waste an entire bottle just trying to mix a color for a little tiny resin figure. So I just used some of the basic colors, and then I did some little tricks by using clear colors over the top of those to change the tonality of some of the oranges and make them a little more red, and then also a little bit of a brown wash to dull down the pilot figure. Just little tricks that I've learned. Instead of mixing a custom color by adding brown to an orange, I was able just to do a wash over the top of it and change the color that way. That way I don't have to mix up an entire batch of custom color, like I said. So anyway, we'll go back down to we'll just show you the wide here, and then we'll go to the close-up, and I'll start showing off the Valkyrie, and then we'll get on to the base. So right now it's sitting on the basic base. This is just the platform, and there's going to be some other layers that are going on. You'll see how that will come together in just a second here. So let me actually, I need to get rid of that so I don't keep clicking on that. We'll go here, and let me just take the sticker off and my business card there, and we'll just show off some of this. There's also me. Happy New Year. Yeah. So the only thing that I had left to do the other day was this little tiny antenna on the backpack, and I was hesitant to install it in the model because it's a very fragile little antenna, and so I was wondering maybe I shouldn't. I see a little bit of a piece of fuzz here. Let me get rid of that. There we go. Oops, no, it's still there. It's on the side of this. That's the little antenna I'm talking about. Anyway, so I'll just give you some close-ups here of the cockpit with the Hikaru figure. Come on, focus. There we go. Minmay in the back seat. Giovanni's in. How you doing, Giovanni? So canopy is also secured and closed. So they are fixed. They will not be coming out. Again, I got a little bit of fuzz here. No big deal. Let's see if I can get that focus again. So yeah, there we go. I got some glare from my lights, but you can see the Minmay figure pretty good. She's got her hands kind of clutched up around her face, kind of in her panic mode. Meanwhile, you got Hikaru in the front seat there. Thanks, Giovanni. I appreciate that. And of course, the antenna is glued in place. So I'm going to have to do some creative packaging when I go to ship this to make sure that antenna does not get damaged or broken off. But one thing I have noticed as we go around, we just look at the various things. I did some scribing work on the feet, so you can see the two different colors there, the color separation with the burnt iron on the very bottom edges of it and the steel. Thanks, Nick. Appreciate that. And then as we flip it over here, see the underside with the head and legs. Now, none of this stuff will be able to come back off because the arms and the legs. What's up, Nigel? The arm sections are glued in. The little brackets that hold the arms in place are glued. So they, those you'd have to remove first to even get the legs off. But one thing I have noticed with this kit is the polycaps in the knee joint are kind of finicky. So I figured out how to pose this. Now, of course, Giovanni's going to pose it whichever way he likes, but he's going to find out the same thing that I have found out is that one of the knees, the knee joints are just, I don't know if the polycaps are just not the right type of joint for this type of kit, because if you don't get the legs in the right position, it kind of wants the nose down on its own because of the weight of the canopy. So I guess that's just inherent in this. And I obviously didn't know that I had not built a Gerwalk in 172. So in fact, there's really isn't any other scale that has this unless you customize a 148 and actually make it a Gerwalk. But it is possible to pose it nicely and everything like that, but you just have to keep that in mind that it's going to want to nose down on you, so you got to get the legs in just the right position. I like it. You like it, Julius? Thanks, bud. I appreciate that. So, and also I had to also modify that we were talking about it last week, where the backpack kind of mounts on there. There's two little points where it attaches at the bottom and then one kind of in the center, but the back of the main fuselage, the tab that's supposed to go up into the bottom of that, into the bottom of the backpack, wasn't tall enough. It just seemed like these folded fins were kind of getting in the way. So I used some strips of really thin plastic strip, and I built up that tab so I had a little bit more of that kind of a keyway. It kind of fits into that groove, and I was able to glue it. And I actually used some, rather than thin cement, I used some good old testers, which is a little bit thicker, and that way it will kind of stay in there and won't just seep into the corners. I wanted it to kind of stay in one spot and grab a hold of that. So I did end up using the thin cement on the rear attachment points. Those are fine. Once I got it pressed into place and had it where it wasn't going to move, then I applied the glue, let it seep in and do its thing. So the only thing I had remaining at that time was I had to do the wingtip lights, the little running lights, the two up here on the front of the cockpit, and then one underneath, a clear piece that goes underneath for where the landing gear, the running light or the landing gear light would come on when the nose gear opens up. So, but other than that, I'm pretty happy with it. I think, and see, just by nudging it, you can see what happens if you nudge it forward, it wants to kind of roll and nose down, which is, I don't know if maybe if Hasegawa needs to kind of redesign, make the polycaps a bit tighter. It might actually be this ankle. It might, because they're all jointed with polycaps. So just keep that in mind if you ever build one of these, that it's going to want to kind of, and I guess it's not necessarily a bad thing because most of the time you see any of these Gerwalks in a landed pose, they're usually nose down anyway. Just the way they entered and exited the cockpit without transforming back into a fighter jet. They're the only way to get out on top of this thing is to have the nose on the ground. So that's what I kind of figured. But I did, I got everything painted. I got an extra little baggie here with some of the extra hands that came with it. So in case he wants to swap them out, he can pop them out. Now keep in mind, they are very, very tight. Now, obviously you can't change out the hand that's holding the gun pod. So there's one more right hand in there and two more lefts, but it is very, very tight fit. So if you do try to take it off, I would almost say I just don't do it, because it's going to be very, very hard to get out. And then I don't want you to damage the paint or anything by trying to pull the stupid hand off. So I figured I installed the ones that best suit this kind of setup. There's two closed fists and one kind of open hand. This one was for holding coming across and kind of holding the gun pod with the other arm. So you could swap out that one for that. And if you wanted to have him, you could bring the gun pod under the nose and have this arm come in and grab it from the other side. That's the purpose of that one. So I will be including both of these in the kit. This is one of my stickers, and then my card, which has all of my web addresses on the back for social media stuff. But until then, we're going to get started on the base here. So let me know. I'm going to just pick him up here and put him in the back. You can steadily watch now. So we've got this base. This is a base that I don't touch it. Yeah. This is a base. I'll show you everybody right now. So you see where the Gerbach is. You're just kind of keeping an eye out here on the lower left of the screen there. I picked up these bases at a USA Gundam store, and they had 4 different variations at the time. This is base number 4. I ended up ordering 2 of these by mistake. I wanted to get just 1 of each, and so I ended up accidentally ordering 2. So I've got an extra. So we decided to use that for this. So basically, we've got the bottom. It's just the bottom floor level, and all these other pieces are going to kind of layer this to give it a little bit of texture. One thing you need to keep in mind with this is it is acrylic. It's laser cut acrylic. So regular thin cement will not work on it. I figured that out. So I had to order some, and I ended up ordering this stuff here. It's a little bit smelly, but it came with a bottle and a thin little applicator, but it's very, very thin. It's like water. That's another thing to keep in mind as you go to glue this stuff down. If you just tip the bottle up, it's going to pour out really quickly. So we got a lot of other pieces in the bottom here, and we're just going to start layering this thing down. So I went ahead and I already glued these 4 edges, so they are glued down, and they come through these tabs. You can't really see them there. There we go. These tabs are the actual holes but those will be covered up with these other layers. So you'll see how this comes together as you go along. It's basically just a bag of a bunch of little pieces here. Let me get them all out. Whoop, there we go. I think that's everything. I guess if I'm missing one, I'll find out later. Just toss that. So we've got all these layers, and there's some instructions here. I guess I'll take this out of the bag. This shows the different layers. Once this is painted up, I think it'll look really, really nice. I'm going to kind of go with a hanger type paint scheme, so it'll be some grays and maybe a little bit of white, but mostly probably some grays and light grays. Darker gray. I don't know. We'll see. So you basically got, you just kind of look at this and see the layers, how they go. There's some larger pieces and then these smaller ones, and all of them have some kind of they've got some kind of some panel lining on them. So it's, you want to keep that in mind because obviously that's going to be the upside, the side that's facing up. So I'm just going to organize all these into some piles here until we get going. A little bit smelly. That is, was that mech uber strong stuff? Yeah, I know. I didn't realize how strong it actually is, but you have to get it because there's just no other way to bond this stuff. But boy, does it bond. You got about a minute's worth of working time. But after that, yeah, if you don't get it right by then, it's going to set up and you're stuck. All right, so these are just, yeah, they're just tabs. There's not too many of those. Nope, I think I pretty much got everything. I have 2, 4, 6 of those. Okay, so that's that. 2 of those. So this, if you can see, there's a lot of laser cut. You're kind of looking at my light up above me with the reflection there. So all those are panel lines, but they're also alignment details for some of these other top layers. So this part C is going to go, if I turn this, you can see there's already an outline for it. If you see the holes are drilled in it, so it'll fit right in the middle there. So I can easily just, stack everything on here, and then, I actually took a picture of it. I think I still have it in my phone here. Let's see. I believe I have a photo of it. Yeah. So this is what it looked like when it's fully laid out. So, and then what I'll do is I'll use some color separation there, whatever. I'll start painting the bottoms, whatever's the lowest surface first, and work my way up to the top. That's the easiest way to mask everything off. But I'll start with maybe the lower recesses might be a little bit darker, and as we work to the top surfaces, we go with different colors. So I might use probably three different colors to fully make the base complete and mask off everything as I'm going. But first things first, we just have to glue all these parts down. So we got that centerpiece. These two go out here on the sides and kind of hold everything, center everything in the middle. They're also overhanging the edges. It's kind of hard to see on camera, but there are some other surface details, and then they did a pretty good job of making it easy to see where the parts go because everything's kind of outlined with those panel lines. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to work sideways here because it's a little bit easier for me, but I need to glue this piece down in the center. And I know that glue is pretty strong, so I'm just going to pour some right down in the middle here. And then when I get this down, once I put it down and get it in place, I'll go along the edges as I would with any kind of thin cement, and it'll wick in underneath there. So hopefully tonight, we can get one more subscription on the YouTube channel. Right now I'm at 499, guys. Looking for that number 500. All right, so we're going to put this down. Again, we have about a minute's worth of working time. And I'm just going to, it's very, very thin. So I'm just going to go over this. I don't want to go too much. That'll squirt out the sides. But you only have about a minute's worth of working time here, so. It's important to get it straight pretty quick. Okay, right about there. Whoa. Started to slide on me. It's just better than sticking. I was just kind of trying to press it down, but by doing that, I actually moved it. But there we go. Now I can kind of control this. And the reason I'm lifting it up is because I don't want to have to tilt this too much. I'm just going to go around the edge of this, and it will flow right down the edge. I can also use some light. If I do get a little drop on some of the visible surfaces later on, I can always go back and take some light sandpaper and this stuff is really, really thin. There we go. All right, so that piece is going to be pretty much stuck now. There's no reason, I don't even have to worry about it anymore. But any of the around the edges there would have seeped in underneath just fine. So I'm going to do the larger pieces first. So that next step will be these two guys. Awesome, awesome work. Thanks, Giovanni. I'm glad you are happy with it. I'm sure you will be when you see it finally in person. So these go down. And again, they're the laser cuts in the bottom. This deck are used to line everything up, so it makes it pretty simple. I'm just going to put quite a good field of that glue down in these center areas here, and then I can really just stick this thing all the way down. And once it's down, it won't move. Whoa. Started to really come out quickly. I think it's a good practice, especially with this thin stuff, is to go around the edges after you have something like this set down and just to make sure that that glue gets underneath. What I'm actually doing with the towel is, if I get a little bit too much, I'm just going back over it and taking off that excess with the towel before it has a chance to etch that surface. And the reason I'm tilting this up is because the glue comes out pretty fast on, and it's very, very thin. So I'm just trying to make sure that I don't, if I tip the bottle up, it's just going to run out in such a hurry. So there we go with that piece. Can I speak up? My cat is snoring. Well, that's what you get for owning a stupid cat. I'm sorry, buddy, but cats, a lot of my friends know that I joke about not liking cats much. I mean, I don't dislike cats. I like cats. I just won't own one. Plus, I can't own one because my wife is so highly allergic, it would be impossible to have one in the house. It's okay. You'll move away from your cat. Yeah, well, good. Especially if you're just watching on your phone. So I hope everybody's New Year was good. I know we talked about last week. Last week was a bit of an anomaly because it was New Year's Eve. So I at the last minute, I decided to start early just because my wife and I wanted to hang out and go have a cocktail at one of our locals, and before it got too crazy, right? So I decided to start about 2 hours early and just did about an hour, and that was just basically assembling the kit. It had most of the painting done. It was just a couple little tiny touch-ups, really. But yeah, put that centerpiece on there. All these other ones are going to butt up tightly to it, so it makes it kind of easy to line everything up. So once you get it positioned right, you can just kind of push it in up tight up against it, and it's. I mean, that stuff is bonded. So once you you hold it for a minute, it's done. It's crazy strong too. It's about $20 for this bottle. So it came with this. Well, it would have been nice if it came with a little funnel, because you have to try to pour this into this bottle. And I just labeled it with my acrylic cement because it looks like water. But the bottle's a nice touch, but it's just like, how do you get it in there without making a mess? So I did pour it straight in, and I did spill some. I had a towel underneath it. But one of my friends was telling me that his came with an actual little funnel, like a little whiskey funnel, for filling up a flask or something like that, a little tiny metal funnel. That would be a nice little touch. But I think I've got an extra one. I could probably sacrifice one and not worry too terribly much about it. And that stuff runs into this. It really wicks in there. It's a lot like, to me, an extra thin cement. It really does work in there quite quickly. All right, so we've got some lower details showing through here. And again, what I'll do is once I prime this whole thing, I will paint these lower recesses first. Then I can mask all those off and just build layer by layer. I found it easier to paint the lowest layers first and mask those indentations. It just makes it easier to work your way up rather than trying to mask your way to the bottom. It's a lot easier because you're going to end up, if you have overspray, you're going to end up covering that up with the next layer as you get higher and higher. So it just makes it that much easier. It's always best when tight behave yourself. Behave yourself, Nigel. Oh, geez. Did I say something that's becoming an inside joke now? I actually like the way this, it sits very, very flat, very, very stable. It's not wobbly, anything. These are quite nice. And each one has a different layout. So I can actually bring those out once I get done putting all these different layers on. I'll bring the other bases over and we can take a look at those. So I don't know if they're still available, but I did find them on USA Gundam Store. So if you find it that you want to purchase one, that would be the place to go and get it. Now these are directional. These next ones go on. Looks like. Oh, we've got these pieces here as well. Oh, these have got to go. Wait, these go. Where do they go? Do they go there or do they go there? Oh, okay. I think they go like that. I guess you could. There's a little bit of an option here. There's 2 or 3 alignment lines. You could go line it up here, and that way they're all kind of jagged. But I think in keeping all the lines together, I think it looks best if we go out here, and just by moving it out another roughly 2 millimeters. That's where that second line is. So that way everything is, all of these lower recesses are all lined up. Tight fitting parts. Yes. That's what you're talking about. So I said something about tight. That got you going, huh? All right, so this is going to go here. I believe. Yep. So it kind of covers up. I wish it would have covered up those tabs a little, because these are those tabs where those side pieces come through. They don't fully make it to the top surface, so they are a little bit exposed. So when you put these on with these vents, you can see through the bottom of them. That's all right. We'll just black those out anyway, so that shouldn't be an issue. And then this will go. Gosh, you gotta really have some fingernails or something, because you can't even. So yeah, when these pieces are lined up, that kind of makes. I think it looks better with these. All these pieces kind of lined up. So that's what that will look like. And it actually, because it overhangs, it actually makes this base even a little bit bigger. Oh, so Julia says USAGS still has 1, 3, 4. Number 2 is sold out. So I have a number 2. I can actually show everybody what that looks like. But so 1, 3, and 4 are still available. Very cool. Thanks, Julius. Thanks for checking into that for us. All right, so let me just start gluing down some other pieces here. I started kind of stacking them on here, but I think I'll start with the middle and work my way out. So I'm going to just lay these other pieces here, and we'll just do these 2 first. So it almost seems like it's better to just kind of not fill this bottle up all the way. Just kind of fill it halfway, so you can actually tip it over without it just pouring out. Because if you fill it to the top, there's no way for you to fully, get the needle over before it's just dumping all over your project. I do like the fact that you have about a minute's worth of working time, because I noticed while I'm talking, I kind of just inadvertently moved it out of position, and I was able to put it back. So if it was instant bonding, you really wouldn't have that option. But once you get that edge down, or once it's down and you've got it in place, and you give it a good little push, it's done. It's not going to move after that. All right, so now we're ready for this side. And these also have some panel lines and some surface details. So it's a little bit difficult to see because it's white, and on the camera, you guys are seeing it just looks washed out. But I'll bring it up and change the angle here once we get everything bonded. So how's everybody's week going so far? We're on the hump day. We're halfway. Actually, I'm on the Saturday schedule now, so I got to work. I got 3 more days, but it is kind of nice having Mondays off, at least. All right, so now we're ready for these last corner pieces, and then there's some other that go on top of that and further raise up the edges. There's 2 here, and then 6 that go along these edges. And those are also outlined. So I guess this one will work here as well. I'm going to do this one first. Since it's already here, I'm just going to put down a healthy little. And now I've got 2 edges. I've got this edge and this one to press up against and get that piece centered properly. Yeah, I think this is the first time I've actually worked with. Giovanni? Did you? What was that? It says A. Must have missed fat fingered that one. Hit the enter button a little too soon. I was saying I think this is the first time I've actually worked with acrylic. That's why I was unaware that there's a specific type of glue for this stuff. Man, I'm having a hard time. It's so thin, I can't even get my fingernails underneath it to pick it up. All right. I will have to go over this with some light sandpaper to kind of, one, because the laser cuts are a little, they almost make it a lip. So I want to make sure that surface is smooth. So I will just go over it with a higher grit, probably a lot higher than 400, probably start around 600, just to take any of those little edges off. And a little bit of glue, kind of a little bit of bubbles kind of come out under the edge there, so I just wanted to shave that off before it got fully cured. All right, so now we're ready for the other two corners here. It's crazy how well this stuff bonds. Get yourself some acrylic sheets now and make your own display cases. Oh, you're just getting a little too ambitious there. Like I want to create or build my own display cases. I don't know. I guess I could. This stuff is supposed to work really well for that. But it would have to be something small, like make stuff for like a an individual model, a vehicle or something, like a small little box. Giovanni was saying he's done with all the masking on the GM Sniper. Hours and hours of masking. Yeah, masking hell is masking hell, but the final results are usually well worth the pain and agony that it takes to do that. Whoops, it's going to drop here. Get this piece down before that glue sets in. So now you can see the entire surface area. Now I am going to be putting a few pieces around the edges here that further raise details, but it looks like there's enough area in the center here to place that kit, and his feet will land within this relatively smooth area in the center. You won't have to worry about the raised ones. It almost looks like a carrier ramp, that would go up and down in some kind of an aircraft carrier. I mean, that's just my thoughts on it, but what do I know, right? All right, so these two small edges. You also got to consider what the next project's going to be. I mean, Giovanni's, or actually not Giovanni, but Nigel's been asking me, and I'm just not sure yet. Because I want to get the base done here first. This is a thinner strip, so I'm going to use less. I'm going to get this tilted so I don't have to tilt my bottle as much. There we go. Get this down before it fully sets. Thank God for that working time, because all it takes is a little bit of a little bit of pressure, and sometimes you deviate from that original spot, and it's like Julie says, yeah, that's what I'm doing right now, masking my MG Zaku 2 high mobility fun times. Yeah, I know. Masking is a necessary evil. But I mean, when I did the Metal Gear Rex, that was a ton of masking because it was all for that camouflage, and it's just hours and hours of masking. But like you guys are saying, once you do your paint and you peel all that off, and then you realize why you did what you had to do, because it's amazing how much that effort, that little extra time allows you to really make something special. So, okay, we're down to the last 6 little detail pieces here. I'll show you what. You see this now. If I tilt at an angle, you can see the different layers. So we've got these little raised edges. We're going to be putting 3 here and 3 here, so there will be some around the perimeter. But yeah, for a basic, there's a lot of panel lines too along the edges that go around the sides, which I think is kind of cool. But yeah, they weren't terribly expensive. And it's nice. You could put a full-size MG Gundam would fit on here, I think, rather easily. I don't know if you could get a PG on one of these. I think it's probably too small for that. You might be able to fit one, barely get the feet on here. But again, I don't know how. I'm not built a PG myself, so I'm not sure about that. But so I guess I got to get rid of that. I know where I'm going. But yeah, MG easily. Even a car, some kind of a 1/12 scale. Decent size base. Oh, Happy New Year, wifey. My wifey just chiming in. How's it going? Love you, my dear. She's probably downstairs. Well, now, obviously, she's on the YouTubes downstairs because she's in the chat. Taking the masking off is exciting and scary. Yes, it is. Just like when I did the canopy on this thing, you got to spend all this time masking it and painting it, but you can't take it off because then you have to remask. So you got to wait till the whole thing is done, and then it's like, did we get it right, or do I got to remask and try to repaint? That's the first time you actually see if you got it right or not. Stuff bonds pretty darn quick. But like I said, thankfully you get about a minute's worth of working time, so it gives you time to line up all those panel lines. But I think it's nice that they included that, in the top of this platform, because it allows you to line these pieces up quite easily. And it just feels solid, when the pieces are all flopping around and not glued down, kind of seems a little bit finicky, but once everything is in place, it's like, wow, it really feels like a solid, well-made base. I think it'll look nice once we get some paint down. So after I get done here, I'll bring out those other the other base kits so you can see each one of them. Better behave myself. The wife is watching. Nigel, you're fine. Yeah, we talk about you often, Nigel. But nothing in a bad way, of course. All right, 2 more of these little details. A lot of bleed through. Just moving on. Oh, from your masking? What kind of masking tape are you using, Giovanni? Because it's a point of contention, I think, and I'm going to, you know, I understand the cost of supplies and stuff like that, but there's a few things that you can't, that I believe, and I'm not pointing fingers at Giovanni for having issues, or I'm just saying, I have found that you have to get high quality masking tape. If you do buy the cheaper stuff, you'll end up biting you in the long run, I think, because there's some of the. I bought a bunch of rolls of 3mm and 2mm tape, and I was fortunate that even though that stuff was probably Chinese stuff, but it actually wasn't bad. It works quite well. But most of the time, I try to stick with Tamiya. I know it can be very disruptive influence. Yeah. Hey, what's up, Blackheart? How you doing, bud? What type of masking tape is? Yeah, everybody's asking the same thing. Tamiya, but the tape is old. That's unfortunate. It's all right. It's fixable, even if you have some bleed through. I mean, and I get it too. Nobody's ever done a masking project without having some kind of, some occasional bleed through. And of course, too, I think sometimes if you get a little heavy on the paint going on, it'll bleed just because you have a lot of paint on there. That might be something that happened too. I notice sometimes if I'm painting a certain color a little bit heavier than another color, it might have some bleed through just because it's maybe a little too heavy on the airbrush. But all right, so let me just kind of show this at an angle here so you can see all those raised edges. So we've got 3 tabs on each side, 2 tabs in the center there. So this is pretty much it for the basic assembly. Nigel says he uses Tamiya masking tape and Tamiya masking sheet, 1mm grid. Okay, yeah, that works well. If you do get to use Tamiya too, also get some of the white Tamiya tape that is for no behaving on my watch. My wife is saying no behaving, yeah. So go ahead, misbehave, Nigel. She's saying no misbehaving. I think it says no behaving, so don't behave. Maria says don't behave. Get some of that white Tamiya tape for curves. This stuff right here for curved edges works super well. This stuff is awesome. Throw down a piece of that, and you can do a curved line. It holds its edge quite nicely. Okay, so we're done with the smelly acrylic glue. Now let me see. So everybody see that? I don't know. We don't want to do that. Everybody see this now? Hopefully you can see the panel lines that are still visible. There's some little circles there, like surface rivets or something on the floor. Those will all be highlighted with panel line color when we get to that point. But I am going to do a little bit of light sand on this, just to also give the paint something, or primer, especially something to grab a hold of. A little bit easier to bond to. Let me go grab those other bases and we'll show those off here. So I'm just going to set this aside and let it dry. 1 second. I know right where they are. It won't be hard to find. So it was just doing a quick rewind. Wait. I missed something there. What did Blackheart say? Just joined doing a quick rewind of what's showed. Oh, okay. Cool. Cool. Now it says, to me, a 1mm strip tape works even better than the white 2mm. Yeah, that's pretty thin. I've got some 1mm. It's not Tamiya though, but it still works quite well. And I'm live by nice. Hey Nigel. Blackheart says he's live. Cool. The 2mm flex tape is excellent for scribing. Yes, that is very true as well. All right, so going back, it was who was it? Gosh, I'm so horrible with names. It was not Joe. It was Julius that said USA Gundam Store has 1, 3, and 4 in stock. So you've seen number 4. That's what I just built. And for some reason I don't have the other 4. Maybe I left it in them. Anyway, so here's base number 1. And this is a picture of what it will look like when it's done. So these are all the same size. The base plate, the actual, the one you glue all the parts down to, is the same exact size, depending on whichever base you're using. Those all, and they're this is 18 centimeters by 18. Let me see. Maybe they are. No, this one says 19. Okay, maybe that's with the parts attached. So between 18 and 19 centimeters is what it sounds like, because some of these have the overhanging pieces, and that, I guess, creates a little bit larger base. But this is everything you get. This is base number 1. You get an angle that doesn't have glare on it. So you've got the 4 pieces that go around the base, and then looks like one large square piece that has the center cut out, and then actually 4, looks like four corner pieces that make up that entire center section, middle section, and then you've got these corner pieces that go on each corner to kind of give it that unique look. And then it's supposed to be, like I said, that's what it looks like when you're done. A little bit of a track or something in the center. So kind of cool. Base number 2, I think this is probably, well, between 2 and 3, I think are probably some of my favorites. I do like 4, but these are really kind of cool. So here's number 2. Quite a bit of detail there. If you're looking at the white pieces on this little picture here, and the gray, so the gray is what you see through the top layers, or it's the bottom, the lower bottomest is that even a word? Layer, which is the large square, base that you can see it up here that you start with, and then you've got the white in the picture there is all of those attachment pieces that go on top of it. So this one, base number 2, looks like you've got, again, 4 sections that go around the perimeter, kind of give it that that opens up, it leaves the center section open but overlaps the edges, and then you've got some other detail pieces that go on top. But as far as like a pretty interesting base, I think this is one that's pretty cool. Whoops, I got missing comments here. So, oh, what? How did I do that? Good Lord. Jumped up to the top. Well, I already saw that. I don't know why. Oh, I know what I did. Okay, sorry guys. I'm being dumb. So that's number 2. Base number 2. And you said, was it 1, 3, and 4? So base number 2 is what we don't have. Now here's number 3. This is another one of the really kind of interesting ones. So number 3 will look like this when it's done. This one's 19 by 19. It says millimeters, but I think that's supposed to be centimeters, because 19 millimeter would be quite small. That's a typo for sure. So you've got the gray piece and then a quite large singular. It's one big white sheet with all the pieces cut out, and then you've got several corner sections that go on top of that. There we go. Get an angle there so you can see everything. So that kind of creates the whole base. So yeah, that's number 3. Those are kind of cool. So that's 1, 2, and 3. And then we just used number 4. So I will have to figure out how to package all this up and send it once I get the base. Looks like an elevator. Which one? The number 3, or were you thinking number 2? Number 2. Which one were you talking about, Blackheart? Thank you. I've been searching for something, but have been sold out. Oh yes. Number 3. Oh yeah. I guess that does. Yeah, there's a couple of these that kind of look like. I guess they all could kind of look like that, but yeah, it does kind of look like an elevator. Although this one might as well. Although it looks like almost like a door would open up in the bottom of it. All right, so let me put these back. All right. Oh, there's number 4. I just left it in. I didn't pick it up when I grabbed the other bases there. I thought I had my hands on it, so. All right, so this is completely glued together. We still got about 30 minutes or so. Oh, on another note, something I'm kind of bummed about. Earlier this year, we were talking about the IPMS show, or this year, I say this year, but a couple weeks back, so last year. But we were talking about IPMS, and I missed last year's show in Renton. And I guess there was an issue with the community center that the IPMS group rents the center for doing their IPMS show. I got all excited because they were going to move the show to Monroe, which is 15 minutes away from my house. And so we're like, oh, this is going to be awesome. It's in June. It'll be in a different month. I'll have some time off. I'll be able to, even if I'm working, I can ask for the time off. I'll be able to go finally, and won't miss another year. Then my buddy starts messaging me going, hey, I can't find that event anymore. What's going on with it? So I asked one of the guys up here, I don't know if you guys know Cobra Plow, Joshua, also known as Cobra Plow. He's pretty grounded in the community here in Washington, knows pretty much everything about every event that's going on. So I asked him, I sent him a message, and he said, yeah, they canceled the show this year, or at least for now. There's no confirmation that there will be an IPMS spring show. Last year, I guess the community center had too many complaints from other people. They were saying that they took over the entire building, and so they kicked them out. So that's why they had to leave the Renton Community Center. And as far as right now, we are not doing an IPMS show this year either. So, yeah, still kind of bummed about that. I was really, especially because I missed it last year. I'm really looking forward to bringing all these kits that I couldn't display because I didn't, there is a Model Mania show coming up, couple of weeks, but the problem is it's not a competition. That's not a problem, but the problem is you're supposed to set up on Friday. You can set up on Saturday. It's 2 days. It's just display only, but it's in Seattle, and I really don't want to navigate Seattle. I don't like driving into Seattle. It's a pain in the butt. Seattle is just it's not a fun city to have to drive in and out and find parking and everything else. It's just a pain in the butt. So, all right, here's what we're going to do. So I don't even know if I want to do that. Besides, I don't have the time off, so I'd have to try to set up on Saturday. And so there we go. So let me see if we turn this. Let's see if we actually tilt this sideways. Maybe I'm trying to get the feet in a spot where So it looks like you could actually, the width of this being in, let's see, let's check it with an actual, it should be 19. Yeah, so 19 centimeter is roughly the entire, it's a little bit wider. It's a little bit bigger, actually. So if we go here, it's about 19 that way, but this way is a little bit wider. No, it's 19. Okay, so 19 by 19. If you position it in a way, you can actually open the wings up all the way and not even overhang this entire base. So I think this is going to work out rather nice. I think the IPMS group near me folded. Everything about the group on the internet is gone. Wow. I wonder if IPMS in general is having issues, because there were supposed to be, somebody mentioned the Nationals were going to come or possibly come to Washington, but now that is not going to happen, at least this year. So who knows? It sucks either way. Because I don't. When I was in California, we had several competitions that you could go to, and I like competing. I mean, I don't mind just doing display only stuff, but I do kind of like the competition aspect of it. I like putting my stuff on the table up against other builders and see how we do. I mean, the last couple of years I've done very poorly as far as winning anything, I should say, at IPMS, but it's particularly 2 years ago when I went to the last IPMS, a lot of guys from Oregon came up from the sleeves group down there, and they just whipped our butts. I mean, they were on it. They brought some really, really strong entries, and they kicked our asses up here in Washington. Blackheart says, I interacted with one local IPMS. I won't do another showing, judging. I was told flat out that if they don't know the subject, it won't be judged. Wow. Man, that doesn't sound like anything like IPMS. I mean, they're supposed to be inclusive when it comes to, especially the other genres, because you can't avoid the Gundam or sci-fi categories, but that just sounds like a good old boys club when it comes down to it. Man, that sucks. I mean, where are you at? What state are you in, Blackheart? If you don't mind me asking, you don't have to answer if you don't want to, but I'm just curious because one of my friends in the community here, George Lelios, who does Old School Gunpla, he's the president of his IPMS chapter in Massachusetts, and he's actually helped that group expand and grow so much than what it was because of trying to get these people, Colorado, trying to get these other, some of the judges and stuff to really open up and know. It's all about education. It's educating the judges and stuff like that. It sounds like they're so close-minded. I was told flat out that if they don't know the subject, it won't be judged. That is ridiculous, because you can judge any scale model. I mean, how is it so hard to judge a build quality on anything, even if you don't understand the subject? It's about build quality, right? That should be the first thing you look at, is build quality, seam lines, paint quality, all that stuff. I mean, you don't have to know which Gundam appeared in what, or which Gundam, or I'm just using Gundam as an example, but like which one appeared in what series, and you don't have to do any of that to know if something's built well and done very well. You brought a couple of Dogram models at a macross. They weren't judged. Gundam was otherwise. Wow. Gundam was otherwise, or was it in another, just an other category? That's why I never went back. Well, I don't blame you. I mean, gosh, I wouldn't go back either if that was the way you were treated. I mean, geez, it just sounds like somebody needs to join that group and infiltrate from the inside and kind of go, hey guys, you're missing an opportunity here. It's not just about building tanks and aircraft. And, that's one of the things I noticed too about this chapter up here, is that a lot of the people that, win the armor categories and the ship categories and and all of the World War II stuff or whatever, they're all just old salties that have been around forever. And it's just that makes you feel like it's like a good old boys club. You know, you're like, I brought my Abrams tank and I thought it was built quite well. Now I think I might have got an honorable mention or something with that, but it never placed. In fact, all of the things that I've taken the last couple of years have never placed. They've only gotten like, attaboy awards and kind of so like that, the purple ribbon. So I was trying to help out, especially with the sci-fi and the anime categories. I was trying to help out those judges and telling them, hey, if you need me to tell you, give you a little bit of insight on what it took to get what you're seeing on the table, that way you can appreciate it a little bit more rather than just looking at something that you consider an action figure. Gundam was judged, other anime wasn't touched. Wow. Damn. Yeah. I don't blame you. I wouldn't go back either. That's horrible. That's horrible. And I hope George is pretty good about watching my live streams that I do the next day. He might throw it on while he's doing something at home and watch it. So I hope he hears that, because he needs to put a word out, since he's also a president of a chapter, that maybe he can get some insight into what's going on in Colorado, because that just sounds productive, very, very counterproductive to trying to promote the hobby. If you're so close-minded to other genres, I mean, if you don't understand the subject matter, then educate yourself. That would be my recommendation. It's like, come on, if you don't understand it, ask questions. How else are you going to know? If you don't know, instead of just blowing you off like it's not important. Wow. That's disappointing, to say the least. So, and I guess there was some drama going on in the chapter up here in Washington, and so I don't know if there's something going on with the officers of this group up here, but I'll have to ask some questions, ask around to see what's going on in that. And these were original kits from 1982. Wow. Yeah, you'd think they would know. They were alive then. I mean, I've had to go, and I did the last couple of times when I helped out the judging at our IPMS event there, or here in Washington. There were a couple of times where their officials came to me, and not only me, but guys like Joshua that I was talking about, Cobra Pla, and of course, people like George. But George hadn't come out to this event, but they were asking like, hey, we've got a question about this, and I was trying to help them so they could be not better judges, but just understand what they're looking at a little bit better. And that's what it takes. It's not about, you don't have to be condescending about it. It just seems like, damn. Busy Builder, what's up, bud? Hello. We were just talking about IPMS and some of the disappointing things that are going on this year. Our events have so far up here appear to have been canceled. But I was just gluing this base together for the Valkyrie. The Valkyrie is done. You can kind of see what's going on there. I'm just slowly rotating this thing around. So this week I will be, maybe this weekend too, we'll see. But I'm going to do some light sanding, because this acrylic is very, very polished, and I don't know how primer is going to stick to that real well. I'm going to maybe just give a light sand with some high grit, just to take the gloss off of this plastic a little bit and help my paint adhesion. Of course, I do have some adhesion promoter. I could use that, but that stuff's really sticky. Oh, by the way, if you've ever used adhesion promoter, I ordered this stuff called Bulldog. And I might actually have a can here. I can show you, since we're talking about. Yeah, I see it. Let me grab it real quick. I decanted this, okay, because it's in a big aerosol can. So I decanted it, and I actually used it in my airbrush. So this is something I've been talking about. I've talked about before, not on this show maybe, but it's been a couple years. Bulldog adhesion promoter. okay, 1 second. I'm going to get back to this. Since the start of the live stream, you've masked off 2 whole pieces. Well, cool. I'm glad you're doing some work, Julius. Well, I'm helping you get through it. Masking hell. Modern RPMS judging and contests have moved away too interested in accuracy and the name of the model builder. Accuracy, huh? You're talking about like historic models and stuff like that? Judging and contest. I mean, they stopped judging every single kit because they were just by sheer numbers. They had, in order to speed up the process, they would ask each of their judges, like, okay, what's your number 1, 2, and 3? So they wouldn't necessarily judge every single kit or score every single kit. They would have to look at what they think just by appearances was their best, the first, second, and third, and then they would collaborate off of that and come to their final decisions. That's at least the way they've been doing it here. And I understand that because it's hard to look at 300 models and try to, figure out, and try to score each one. You'd never go home. They'd be working till nighttime. I have to stick some of the modelers and judges to come out wearing NASCAR style sponsorship. Needs is in Trotty's shoulder holding the foot. Oh, you mean this one? Yeah. That'd be a cool little diorama, wouldn't it? Yeah. So anyway, let me push this kit aside here because I want to talk about this bulldog. This is something that you guys may have never used. And if anybody's ever used an adhesion promoter, this is made to help paint stick to plastic. But I'll tell you, if you go down deep, I mean, we're talking really deep on my Facebook page, you might be able to find the post that I made on Bulldog Adhesion Promoter, because I used it on polycaps and paint. I did a test. So when you paint a polycap and then you squeeze it, the paint just blows off, right? Just flakes right off. After using this stuff, you can actually take the polycap and squeeze it and smash it through your fingers and the paint would not come off. So I'm telling you, this stuff does work. It's a bit stinky. And like I said, I decanted it. I put it in a bottle and I might even use some leveling thinner to get it the right consistency to use through my airbrush. But this stuff does work. And I've had this can for a while because I haven't used it in a while. But I think it's mostly used in the automotive industry for doing like plastic bumpers or painting, painting anything plastic, because primers and paint don't stick well to bumpers and stuff like that. So they use some kind of adhesion promoter. And this is just the first one that I found. And I think I bought it off of Amazon even. But stuff does work. So look it up. If you want to paint polycaps and you don't want to worry about paint flying off of them every time you move a joint or something like that, like a knee joint or something, and all of a sudden the paint explodes. Adhesion promoter, it does work. Put that back up on the shelf for next time. All right, so where are we at? We've got about 15 minutes if we're going to run till 7:30. Even sci-fi has become overrun by it. Accuracy isn't one of the criteria for judging, but I've heard it uttered. By judges while judging. Yeah, you know what? And that might be something that might be the reason why my Abrams tank didn't fare very well, because I went into that. I bought a lot of photo etch for it, and I even put this on the sheet. I said I was not going for any kind of accuracy, any kind of era, because some of the resin stowage pieces that I had, like the rucksacks and stuff like that, they weren't the right year. They weren't they weren't correct for that year of tank, right? Because that was like the Abrams 1A, the A1 or whatever, was an early Abrams tank. So I don't remember the year. I'm not a historian, so I don't even remember the years that would have been relevant. So I even put on there, this was not intended to be historically accurate. I just wanted it to look good. I wanted to look realistic and look good. And I think I achieved that, but excuse me. But you've got a lot of rivet counters out there that want to that are going to do that kind of thing. Duplicator has a similar product. And we're talking about the adhesion promoter. Yeah. Sci-fi rivet counters. Yeah, I did. I said that before I even saw your comment there. It's exactly what I was talking about. Rivet counters. Come on now, give me a break. It's too bad because it taints the whole experience for especially. Can you imagine? Now, Black, I don't know your experience, or your experience in the hobby, but can you imagine? I'm just going to say, for instance, what if you were a brand new builder and you were coming into an event for the very first time and that happened to you? Would you ever want to go to an event again? If you walked in the door all excited, like, oh, this is going to be cool, I'm going to see a bunch of scale models, I got to put my stuff on the table, and then get treated like that, I'm like, holy crap. I mean, that would just, I can't imagine what that would do to somebody, for the very first time. It was just, oh, you are busy builders working on an M1A1. Nice. You know what I did after, I shouldn't have, but I came across another M1 or A1 with the mine. What is it? I'll just go get it. I can't remember. I'm a loss for words. It's the mine grill or whatever on the front of it. Where is it? Here it is. The mine plow. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. And it was super cheap, so I had to buy it. This was a while back, but let me go to the down look here. So we'll just a little bit wider angles, you can see the whole thing. But yeah, so I got this guy with the mine plow on the front. So that'll be another project, but I will probably, I imagine I will get all the photo etch again because it was a really nice, I think it's really cool. I think these kits benefit from doing, putting photo etch on them. I think they're just, by themselves, they're nice, but I think photo etch, especially all the little buckles and snaps and levers and handles and all that stuff, I think it just looks 100 times better with photo etch on them. It's insane pursuit of accuracy that keeps some from builders. Exactly. That happened to me. Everyone thought it looked good. Judges thought it was crap. I was so discouraged. Gosh. Oh no, don't tell me. I put it in the dumpster and didn't touch another model for 10 to 15 years. Damn. Oh my God. I'm sorry to hear that. But yeah, that's the thing. Gosh, you guys, if you go into these events, if you're a president or some form of official capacity in an IPMS event, you guys have got to be more encouraging to the builders, man. People that show up and get treated like that just don't want to come back. I just don't understand the mindset behind that. To me, a kid is old but good, yes, unless you have dial calipers for eyes. Yeah. See, I don't, when I did all the photo etch, I put I had the exhaust grill on there and all this extra stuff. And it's like, again, I don't know if it was accurate or not. I didn't care. It was just like, I'm not making a Desert Storm one. I don't want you to think this one came right out of the Desert Storm and every single, piece of equipment on there is 100% accurate. I didn't have the time. The only thing I did is I used reference photographs. I found, tanks, pictures of tanks, and I used reference photographs to get the extra stuff that I put on there, right? Like the fender, there's little fender springs that hold the front fenders down. And I actually made those. I scratch built those little, I just bent some wire and made those because they didn't come on the kit. And, so I did some extras like that, but yeah, I even put the F-14 F-14A on the table, and that one again didn't place, but it did get a nice, like, oh, it got an Attaboy award. And I thought I weathered it nicely. I didn't over weather it. I probably under weathered it if anything. I didn't get too crazy with it, but I thought it looked quite nice. And you can find all those. I've been posting all these on the YouTube channel as shorts. A bunch of short videos with all the photographs. I've been uploading all the photos from these past projects. I've got one in the queue right now for the next Warhammer upload that I'll be doing, which is from the Warhammer Valkyrie that I did as a commission. That one will be going up in a day or two. But so if you want to see all those to disappear for a little, no big deals, Nigel. We were just talking about you the entire time. So if you want to check those out, go ahead and share those, like them, whatever. Trying to get to 500 subs tonight. I got 499 right now. I just need one more, guys. Anybody know anybody that wants to subscribe to my channel? I'd appreciate it. I'm promoting the YouTube more than anything right now because Facebook has kind of been, they delete everything after 30 days now. Any of my videos don't stay up long, but I have been getting a lot of exposure and traffic from them lately. I'm kind of blown away that I have over 6,300 followers on the Facebook page now, but yet only 499 subs here on YouTube. So I'm trying to get to that 500 tonight if we can pull that off. Anyway, I'm doing a live build series called Back to Basics starting in February, using nothing but basic techniques I learned in the 80s and 90s before huge aftermarket. Nice. Before MiG and AK. Oh, that's awesome. That sounds great, dude. I want to check into that. Let me know when you're going to do that, because I would really like to watch that. That'd be great. Nigel, say I know what I know because I have been there. That kind of stuff. Yep, that is true. Want to see you do good, solid work. You have to be a real anal judge to fail it. Yeah. Again, the stuff that I'm referring to was the modern aircraft or modern armor kits. Excuse me, I'm doing a lot of talking. My throat's kind of dry. And I haven't done enough of the modern or even historical armor or any kind of kit like that. I haven't done enough research to know what's accurate or what's not, what should be there, what shouldn't. So I put it on the table. I'm just hoping that the skills will come through versus whether it's accurate or not. Like I said, probably some of those on the tank, the Abrams tank, some of the equipment, some of the rucksacks, they weren't from that era. They were probably a little more modern than the Desert Storm area. So it probably wouldn't have been on that tank, but I didn't, that's not why I got it. I got the stowage set. It was a resin kit. It came with a lot of stowage pieces just to put extra gear on there and make it look cool. And I weathered it nicely, made it dirty. Heck, if you watch the shorts, you'll see the pictures. There's even a pee bottle on there. So let's see. What did I miss here? By the way, my vault came more battle damage now. Supposed to fix next week. Oh, he got even more damage. We're talking about the same one, the 1J, the VF1J. That's what you're talking about. Also, I don't know. That's a spelling error. Pen light judges. They aren't meant to have spotlight on them. By the way, is this Mr. Paint shortage? Can't find much of anything. Wait. Is there a Mr. Paint shortage? I do not know. That's a good question. I need to order a few colors. I'll try to go to Spray Gunner. Maybe they've got them, but that's a good question. I don't know. 3 is cool. Yep. About accuracy, I want to build a Huey Vietnam era. Nice. My father wrote in. Cool. Yeah, now that's got something. That's special if you're going to do it just for that. That's pretty cool because you got a reason for it. My dad was in the Navy, and he never spent any time on a submarine. He was in the Seabees. He was a mechanic, so I don't have anything. I want to build a submarine. Yeah, he never went on never saw any combat either. So that'd be pretty cool though. Yep, same one. Send a pic of it. Okay, no problem, Blackheart. Luckily, there's a lot of personalities trying to be the next name in the hobby, so it might be skewed a bit. Whatever. Locally, there's a lot of personalities trying to be the next name. I'm not trying to be anything. I'm just trying to figure out how, if I'm going to be doing this, try to promote the hobby, I might as well try to benefit from it a little bit too. Burbank and Gundam USA don't have it. Don't have what? What did I forget something here? What are we talking about? Talking about the paint you're talking about? Gosh. USA Gundam stores having shipping issues? Yeah, don't tell me about that because I ordered the O in February of last year, and some people have already, I think, including Julius, already got his. I think you were talking about, was it Julius that got yours? And I still haven't got mine. They said, oh, it's going to be first quarter now of 26, so we'll see. Amazon is the most reliable for Mr. Color range. Really? Interesting. How's the prices, though, with Amazon? Sold in the US and Canada as they contain organic solvents not allowed. Oh, yeah, of course. All that compliance crap. I know. I had to change my lacquer thinners like 3 damn times because of the compliance. Who's current? Yeah, I know what you mean. Oh, the next name in the hobby. Who is current? Almanacs. Nice to have you. Thanks for joining. I've not seen you before. Appreciate you coming in. Almanacs. It's all owned by Mig Jimenez. Okay. Interesting. I know Mig. I like Mig products. I like AK products. I use them all. I try to keep the politics out of it. That's one thing I don't do on this channel. I don't bring politics into anything. I definitely try not to. Because I know there was some issues with AK or a few years back or something. It's like, whatever. Yep. Use their paints. I need to find ammo brushes. Ammo Mig products are terrible. Nigel, you just don't know how to use them. I'm kidding. I couldn't say it with a straight face. I know you told me that the other day. I think I've used AK stuff. Hey now. I haven't used a lot of MiG stuff. I've used mostly AK. But I know Mig Jimenez and AK had some. They worked together for a lot of years before they split off. But anyway, I don't use a ton of stuff, but I do use. I've got a set of AK weathering pencils. I've got some pigments and stuff like that. That's how I do all my weathering. So anyway, we're getting down to the last couple of minutes here. So base is glued together. We're going to put some primer on it. We're going to give it a light sand, put some primer on it, try to get some colors down. I'm thinking about 2 or 3 shades, probably 3 shades of gray might look nice. Darker in the recessed areas and then lighter as we get higher up. I think that will work nicely. I just got to do some color selection, figure out what looks best. Blackheart says 80% of Vallejo over the rest. Tamiya, AK, and Mr. Color. Yeah, I use Mr. Color paints it pretty much exclusively. I think if I roll the camera over here, you can see there's the screen, but there's half of my rack. You go this side, there's the other half coming all the way around. I got all my chisels over there. So I've got these paint racks that go all the way around the back. You can see the racks. They go all the way around my work area there. So, yeah. That's what I do. Mr. Color pretty much exclusively. So, all right, boys and girls, let's get up here. Let's finish this thing off here. So, yeah, let me go through the list here. Thanks for joining in, everybody. Let me go through. It's a long chat. Everybody was talking tonight. So we got Juggernaut. coming in first. Julius short second. Then we had Nick, Giovanni, of course, Nigel, of course. It wouldn't be a night without him in here in the chat. And then shortly after those guys, and we're talking, we have come in after that. My wife, of course, she jumped in for a couple little minutes. Then we had Blackheart. Good to see you as well as always. Try to get through the list here. I think that's it. No, did I miss anybody? I do apologize. I'm going through this really fast. I'm a busy builder, of course. Yeah, saw him jump in. I apologize. Like I said, I'm blasting through this, trying to get everybody's name in there. I always like to say thank you to everybody that spent the time to hit the keyboard and type a comment in. Then we had Almanax. Thanks for coming in. Good to see you too. Anyone have experience with Kaleido paints? No, I can't say I do. Almanax. I have not heard of that brand. Interesting. What a Kings fan. Yeah. No, you're not. I'm not sorry. What? Well, who's your team, Blackheart? Okay. Since you're bringing up hockey now, you just saw the logos all the wall. I mean, you can see it right behind my head here. There's a flag hanging there underneath my right next to on my spray booth. Avalanche. Oh God, my wife's gonna love you. She likes the bat. She likes the Avs. No, I do too. Just not when they're playing my team. But you guys are doing good this year, I think, right? You're doing really good. Yeah, you're doing better than us. I mean, we finally put together a couple wins. We got a game that started at 7:30, so they're probably playing right now. So we'll see how that. Actually, it probably just started. So yeah, it's 7:30 right now. So anyway, good luck to your team, my friend. That's cool though. I like the Avs. Back in the old Patrick Waugh days. I love that. It was awesome. So, all right. Anyway, thanks for joining in, everybody. I appreciate each and every one of you. Let's hit that 500 mark tonight. Please. Come on, guys. We can do it. Find somebody. Anybody. All I need is one more sub. We'll make it happen. We'll get to that 500 mark and then beyond. So, anyway, like I always try to say at the end of everything, be good humans. Be good humans. You know, treat everybody like you would, and don't be a douche. Talk to you soon. See you in the next one.